We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
Kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, I think let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
He's not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some.
At the press conference, Gervonta Davis turned up the heat by sending a strong warning to Jake Paul. He didn't hold back, making it clear that his only plan is to end the fight in devastating fashion and leave no questions about who's better. Davis promised he's coming to knock Jake out and secure the payday, showing complete confidence in his power and focus.
He's a fighter that's just started fighting. That's, you know how when somebody first come in the gym and yeah. When somebody first come in the gym and they been coming for like a little minute, so they think they nice now. They ain't get all the everything down pat, but that's how he fight. I don't think he's an awkward fighter. Awkward is somebody, I don't want to call no names, but awkward is different from him. He's not awkward. We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
Eddie Hearn didn't hold back when talking about the unusual matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He pointed out that there's a big difference between real boxing and staged entertainment, and this fight clearly belongs in the second category. To him, it's not about skill or true competition, but more of a show meant to grab attention. Hearn even laughed at the idea, calling it hilarious, and warned that people shouldn't mistake these exhibitions for real professional boxing. His reaction shows the growing worry among traditional promoters that entertainment fights are starting to overshadow the true spirit of the sport.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, what can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight. With, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. Now, whether you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
Ariel Helwani gave a different take, pointing out that fans often accept and even enjoy unusual matchups in MMA. But when something similar happens in boxing, the response is usually negative. To him, that shows an unfair double standard. Helwani said that while the Davis versus Paul fight isn't classic boxing, it still offers entertainment that people will tune in for. He explained that this bout shouldn't be judged like a title fight or official event, but seen as a one-off show. In his view, if fans can enjoy spectacle fights in other combat sports, then boxing fans should be able to do the same without too much criticism.
That generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150. How much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? Do you know what I mean, Pizzi? In MMA, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks, there's no doubt about that. But I will say...
You agree, right, or no?
Yeah, the idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here. I think where people get annoyed with Jake is he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like, reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. You know, like this is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as, like, you know, why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'll be like, this is fucking ridiculous and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like, he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
Chael Sonnen took a harsher stance, dismissing Jake Paul's abilities as a real boxer. He argued that the Paul brothers aren't known for true boxing skills, but instead use their fame and money to land fights with big names. Sonnen pointed out the pattern of Jake picking opponents who are legends or established fighters, despite the obvious gap in technical skill. To him, these matchups aren't about fairness or competition, but about using influence and cash to draw attention. His sharp criticism echoed the views of many who see this fight as more of a money grab than a true boxing showdown.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
The size difference between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul is one of the biggest talking points about this exhibition. Davis is a natural lightweight, while Paul competes closer to cruiserweight, making the gap in weight huge. This has sparked speculation that the fight could already be set up. Some analysts argue that no matter what happens, Jake Paul gains more from it than Davis. If Jake wins, he earns respect for beating a top-level boxer. If Davis wins, critics will say it doesn't matter because of the size mismatch. These doubts have fueled rumors that the outcome might already be fixed to push Paul's career forward.
He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think? Sorry, so I thought we were all unanimous here.
He shouldn't.
Do you think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
it's a little
6'1".
man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up
Move on.
and absorbing punishment, bro, I'm walking forward. Look.
Ryan Garcia compared this event to past controversial moments in boxing, like when Mike Tyson took part in exhibitions that fans never really wanted. Garcia admitted that the public isn't asking for Davis versus Paul either, but pointed out that boxing often pushes ahead with these kinds of spectacles anyway. He emphasized that Davis is much smaller than Paul, which makes the matchup unfair from the start. In Garcia's view, even if fans don't like the idea, they'll have to accept it because the hype and money behind the fight are too strong to stop.
Bro, that's a fucking disgrace of a fight.
Yeah.
You know it. Just like Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it. But he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're gonna think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis he's actually really small. Like when I fought him, he's small.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
Jake Paul stirred things up by mocking Davis with one of his trademark publicity stunts. In a video, Paul smashed a cake shaped like Davis as a way to insult and provoke him. The move was meant to embarrass Davis, but it also created major buzz online. Paul has always been skilled at promotion. and this stunt worked perfectly by grabbing headlines and fueling the rivalry. The destruction of the tank-shaped kick reminded fans that Paul relies just as much on mind games and showmanship as he does on actual fighting. Seeing Davis step into the ring with someone as big as Jake Paul will feel surreal. The size difference is almost laughable, but Davis holds clear advantages in skill, speed, and defense. His quick footwork lets him move around the ring and avoid Paul's power shots, while Paul will try to use his reach and size, landing clean punches on a smaller, slippery fighter like Davis could be tough. Davis's defense and counterpunching may create chances for him, even with the weight and height gap. The real intrigue of this matchup lies in the clash of skill versus size.
Why is Gervonta Davis fighting a guy that big? There is some interest to that because you're not going to see Gervonta Davis. You're going to be able to see Gervonta Davis's feet. That's what I'm going to be interested to see because I don't think Gervonta's going to jump out there and try to run up into Jake Paul and try to knock Jake Paul out. What I think Gervonta is going to do is Gervonta is going to move his feet, just going to move, make Jake Paul miss a lot, make Jake Paul look really dumb just by using defense on him and making him swing at the wind because that is going to be very tough for him to hit a guy that is that little. If you play basketball, for example, and you are a tall 6'1" guy and you try to stand in front of some 5'8", real quick 5'8" guy, trust me, their first steps are going up out of there, those little teeny weeny dudes. So that's going to be very fun and interesting to watch how that goes down. Now, on the other side, you know what Jake Paul's going to do. He don't have no consciousness. He doesn't have a conscience about what he's trying to do. He's going to go in there try to hurt a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He don't care. He wanted to Nate. He's way bigger than Nate Jones when he fought Nate Jones. You think he didn't care about hitting Nate Jones upside the head? He's definitely going to be looking to try to get as much as he can get off on Gervonta Davis and I see him trying to run up on him, trying to maul him, trying to grab him, trying to club him, trying to do all kind of craziness, man. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Now, let me tell you what I really hope, and I haven't seen for this particular card, but I know that I know it's going to be good, which is the undercard. The undercard for the Canelo Alvarez fight and Terrence Crawford fight is absolutely horrendous. There's nothing on the thing that would make you want to watch to tune into that.
Even Terrence Crawford, one of the top pound-for-pound boxers in the world, brushed off the idea of taking the Davis versus Paul fight seriously. Crawford openly questioned how promoters could match a 195-pound fighter against someone from 135 pounds. To him, this isn't a real fight, but more of a business move. His reaction reflected the doubts many boxing professionals share, viewing it as a spectacle instead of true competition. Crawford's words highlight the growing divide between real sporting contests and entertainment-driven matchups.
Ferocious. This is speed and power and explosiveness combined, like they couldn't keep up with it.
Wanted to get your take on the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't have no reaction. I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. If it's scripted, then it's in reality. He's way too big for Tank. Tank is very talented, punch hard.
Analysts are questioning whether Davis's punches will even make a difference against Jake Paul. In boxing, power often decides fights, but against such a much bigger opponent, Davis's shots may not have the same effect. The worry is that Paul's size and body mass will absorb most of the impact, making Davis's challenge much tougher. On the other hand, if Paul lands clean punches with his weight advantage, the damage to Davis could be serious. This uncertainty adds tension and sparks debate over whether this exhibition should even be happening under these conditions.
I am interested. It's definitive in favor of Tank, like some people are suggesting. And with it being 10 rounds, like Jake Paul did start to gas at the end of his last fight. Like if that happens, maybe Tank could look at that and go, right, I'm going to work the body early, and when you do start fading, then I'm going to fucking really put the pressure on you. And it's one thing with Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, in front of you, you know, who's trying a little bit in the last 2 rounds, but Tank, even as small as he is, it will be a lot harder to keep him off. That's a lot of divisions. This really is size versus skill in its purest form, and that is why I've got to admit I'm fascinated to see it. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed as well, because I wanted to see Tank versus Roach after they went to a draw in their last fight, a very controversial draw. I think Tank should have fucking lost it, to be honest. Tank doesn't give a shit about legacy and belts. He doesn't give 2 shits about that. He just wants money. And unfortunately, it's going to really hinder his legacy. His legacy will just be, yeah, he had a good run. But he's never going to be up there with the greats, despite his talent. That being said, if he chins Jake Paul, it won't really matter because everyone will fucking love him, won't they? This was Darren's fight the other night against Luke Rockhold, former UFC middleweight champion, dropped him. There was just a massive gap in ability there. Like Rockhold being like a very well-rounded fighter in MMA, but Till just such a specialist in stand-up, and it showed. Oh, it was a terrible one. I mean, he's say, will it look similar to this, or will it be even more? And what will Tank's power be like as a 135er? Like, he's probably going to be about 150 when he gets in there, maybe. Will those punches on the big fat dome of Jake Paul actually really hurt? Because power can translate up a couple of divisions, but like, what if Jake just takes them? No problem. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying it would be fucking weird. And ironically, I said Tank should be fighting Roach, but Jake Paul clearly now should be fighting Darren Till. Hard to watch. And this knockout was fucking brutal. Oh, God, leg was bent back and everything.
A shocking rumor has been circulating, claiming that Gervonta Davis could be offered up to $200 million to purposely lose against Jake Paul. The speculation suggests Davis might take the money and give Paul the win, which has outraged many fans. People see this as damaging to boxing's credibility because it raises doubts about the fight being real. If the deal were true, the matchup wouldn't be about skill or legacy, but only about business. This rumor has split opinions and left fans questioning whether the event is an actual competition or just staged entertainment.
Now, really, y'all worry about the wrong question. Y'all worry about Roach, but the real question is, damn, is Tank getting paid $150, $200 million to take that dive versus Jake? Is he gonna do it? Now, I'm just thinking, like, damn, like, oh no, $200 million? It's an exhibition, ain't gonna go on your record? Shit. What would I do? Would I take $200 million to lose a fake fight? Damn, G. Jake might win this fight, bro, because shit. $200 million is an exhibition, y'all already talking shit. $200 million. Would I take the dive? I think $200 million is worth taking a dive, gang. I honestly do think so. And it ain't even a real fight. I hope that's not the case, but that's a fucking solid fucking question. What the fuck is gonna happen in this fight? Like, is he gonna take the dive? It's an exhibition, so somebody gotta win. It's not real. It's like a play. When you really think about it, it's sparring. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? Man, what y'all think? What would you do? Would you take the $200 million to motherfucking lose to Jake Paul?